Good evening, family. Good evening. I come to you April 21st for our board meeting, another great meeting. I want to make a special note real quick about agenda I post. Anything I post from the city is a copy of what the city gives to me. I do not make any alterations or any changes to anything that I receive from the city because it's like official document. So anything that I receive from the city that I post on my page is basically what I receive from them. So again, just want to make that point clear for us, those type of things. And we don't use the city logo because it has to be authorized by the mayor. So basically, we don't use. That's why I use my own little logo for us, blending families in paradise. So again, but anything that comes from the city, like the agenda, anything such as that for us, information, we post it as is, or a screenshot it as is for a scan. So that's how we do that. Another great day. Um, not that many presenters because basically we had a conference to go to this evening. Um, and Mr. Ryan Holmes, I guess again, probably the biggest one was Mr. Patrick Brown. We were able to get the iPads with the internet. So again, we are going to be able to have that technology. I also spoke to him about making them more accessible to emails and things such as that, and dashboards, as well as understanding the calendar for us knowing calendar of events that we may receive, instead of receiving this paper trail all the time. So he kind of mentioned that things might be able to happen that way. Um, Also, we still had questions about the off-road diesel bid. I hate to drive a, I guess, hammer on that consistently, but I do think it requires two bids. But according to my information today, they said basic companies are not bidding because of the fact that high gas bills for having to bring diesels to Brookhaven. So while we only receiving one bid, so that's hopefully we got to figure out ways to be more competitive there. Um, all in all, everything went well for as that concerned. Um, I brought up two issues in the end. One, and I really want you guys to recognize who, if anyone votes against these type of things, we support small businesses. We are a small business. We really encourage all small business. Whether it's I keep telling this vendor permits or any type of small business, we're really for the entrepreneurship of the community. So I want you guys to make note. We kind of mentioned about there's a place. Actually, it's going to be um, it's over on it's a snowball stand that basically really they really want you to just sell snowballs, and we're trying to change the ordinance where right now it's zoned as only residential. You ought to be able to sell snowballs, no more than someone having a lemonade stand. So basically, we ought to be able to do things to show that those people ought to be able to sell snowballs in a place where whether you do it seasonal within a vendor's permit. But we're going to bring it to a vote next time around because I really think it's important that we support small businesses. We believe we're fighting for our community, and everything that basically was a law before does not mean it can be amended or changed. So I think that's very important that because a location has, right now is zoned as a business, I'm sorry, as a residential, a snowball stand is not like a car dealership coming to a community. So again, we think that's something we're gonna call to a vote, and I want you guys to be aware that next week when we can vote on that. Also, we had a situation where I want to bring you guys knowledge on this right away, right away for cleanouts. That's something I think that they talking about folks being on private property, but there's a situation where a person has a clean out that's on his property. Basically his plumber has ran his snake from his clean out all the way to where the city's connection should be and didn't find anything. But because he don't have a clean out on the right of way, they're saying that basically he has to pay to get a clean out done. I really don't think that's right. Basically if that's on the city end where the city has to do what they need to do for us, this that even test what they want. It has to be some alternative ways that we can do something where this person has a plumber, and the plumber has said basically there's no stoppage from his main or his cutoff to the main valve, and it's on the street side. But because the clean out is on his property, we're saying we can't go on his property. I don't think that's right. So we kind of put that out there. And hopefully we find some alternative for that concern, because that project could cost from $500 to $2,000 to put a clean out in the right of way area. That basically that we're on, because the city can only work in the right of way. I think that's something we got to look at. And again, we're going to mention again. So those are two things we kind of propose this week. All in all, I want you guys to be aware, again, like-minded people for our community to grow. So again, those are two biggest things. So again, we also gave kudos to Center Point Baptist Church, Center Point Church. They're actually have started their recovery um, recovery classes on Tuesdays, which we think is outstanding. We just think that's a great job there. So again, ask you guys, again, please, any accolades we have in our community, please let us know, because we really want to be a part of the positive thing that's going on in our community. Again, thank you guys. Have a great day. Love Brookhaven.